Andy wrote about this today on SNY.TV. Why is George Springer not a New York Met?
Still can't get over our wiseacre producers in that graphic. But to your question, Doug, look, it's not really a surprise. Even it was more what I was doing in that column today was gathering and putting together information that we've been talking about for weeks, frankly, and we've been hearing for weeks, which is that once the Mets got Lindor and Carrasco, they just really downshifted their pursuit of Springer. They had a star. They didn't have the need to make that kind of big splash anymore because they had Lindor, and they had to start thinking rationally and big picture in terms of their outfield, which is a luxury. Look, fans have the luxury of fantasizing about, let's get this guy and that guy and that guy. The front office doesn't have that luxury. They have to say, if we want to sign Michael Conforto long-term, and if we want to sign Francisco Lindor long-term, we can't have George Springer. It's not just that Steve Cohen has virtually unlimited financial resources. It's how do you want to spread those resources out around your team? Teams with aging players into their 30s with huge contracts have less flexibility to do things with the roster. The Mets already have Robinson Cano coming back, or at least his money after this year. They do want to, as I said, sign Conforto. They do want to sign Lindor. There's only so much you can do.
That's a really good point. You know, and Andy, when you think about it too, I mean, Springer would have been nice to have, don't get me wrong. But if you're going to go on the assumption that, okay, you'd like to get Conforto re-signed, he's a homegrown Met, keep him at home, extend Frankie Lindor after making the big blockbuster trade. It's nice to have those guys, but you still need arms and you still need quality starting pitching if you are going to win anything. And I look at this starting rotation right now, guys, apart from after this season, Noah Syndergaard is free. Marcus Stroman is on the open market. So aren't you going to like to be able to sign one, if not both of those guys, or at least go out into the open market and add to your starting rotation? Because DeGrom, Carrasco, Peterson is all I'm assured of having for 2022. I need more quality arms if I'm going to still be a contender in this National League.
I think the important point for Michael Conforto is that the Mets are keeping themselves open to an extension by not necessarily signing George Springer. This does not guarantee anything because you've heard of his agent in Scott Boras. Does his reputation play a role in all of this conversation we're having about just the potential that the Mets can sign him to a long-term deal?
Oh, it certainly could, and it has in the form of other players and the opportunities that they were presented, that they maybe did or did not take, and that they passed on to try to get a bigger contract because he was whispering in their ear that he could get that for them, and oftentimes he does. Well, in Michael Conforto's case, knowing him, at least the way I feel that I do, and hearing his words from last year when he specifically said, look, this is my decision. Scott represents me, but this is going to be my decision. I'm going to decide, where I go and how much I play for. And that means to me a lot.